I'm nervous.
I don't remember.
I know like 3 people are gonna listen to this realistically. Like the first one when it drops. That doesn't make my heart any less like fearful.
That's why we're talking, right? We could talk for 2 hours if we need to beforehand.
And then we just upload this and call it a day.
And we're done.
Now you made me nervous.
I'm telling you, our rights and the okays are gonna.
We're making a podcast. Like, this is happening.
No. Bye.
I quit.
I'm done. I can't take this anymore.
Okay.
I don't know what to say after.
We should probably tell them what it's called.
Morbid and Mundane.
That is what it's called.
I didn't have to think about it, but I sure made it sound like I did. So,
I think the only accurate way to describe our podcast would be 2 people with very painstakingly average lives talking about not average things.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty spooky, morbid things actually.
Right.
On
so
that side,
morbid and mundane. Like it makes sense to me.
And it's got a little bit of alliteration there, which we just thought was fun.
Alliteration. So we should probably tell them how we know each other. I don't. I walked in off of the street.
Yo, we literally walked in this room and sat down and we're making this up
as
right
we
now.
go. We're just deciding what's happening.
No, we are cousins.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, ew.
Born and raised to be cousins.
Yeah. How do you explain
I
that?
don't know. Like, my dad is your mom's brother.
Correct.
There is a family tree forming.
Oh my gosh, we have so much backstory already.
I hate this.
I'm so nervous.
I'm so like shaky.
We can cut it out too.
Yeah.
If it's just bad.
But we are in fact family, and like we grew up talking about this stuff.
Oh yeah, it was all the time. We'd play
Literally.
scary games, watch scary movies.
And I only learned recently that not everybody goes through a phase with this. Like, I think I've said that to you before, where it's like, I was under the impression that because we went through a huge phase in, like, middle school, early high school of being, like, super obsessed with serial killers and ghosts and creepypastas and all this stuff. I thought that was normal for kids. And I'm learning now that it wasn't. Like,
I definitely think it's because we're from Louisiana, though. With all, like, living so close.
That's true.
Yeah, to all the spooky stuff. That
voodoo.
All of that kind of, I think it'll be more of a around here kind of thing. But
That's
also
true.
Growing up on, like, internet culture.
Yeah. And Tumblr.
Oh.
Disgusting.
All right.
But it's just interesting to me because it's like, even now, like, that was something we never really grew out of, you know? Like, we went, obviously it's dialed down. Like, I went, like, we're not going to Comic-Con anymore dressed as serial killers and, like, creepypasta characters and stuff. Like, we're obviously more mature about our interests. He's moving.
There's a ghost in the room. A ghost.
It waved. But, like, I don't know. Like, we grew up enough so that we can talk about it maturely, you know? And we can find interest in morbid things without being cringy.
Yeah, it's still, I mean...
It's a little cringe.
It's a little cringy, but we can admit that now, so...
Right.
Yeah, no, but, like, almost every time we saw each other, it would be like, oh my gosh, did you hear about this case yet? Or, oh my gosh, do you know this haunting story?
Do you remember that one time we were watching YouTube videos about, I think it was Eliza Lamb?
It definitely was, because I know what you're talking about.
And we were fully convinced that there was, like, a YouTube conspiracy going on. Do you remember that?
No, we found, like, this channel that was just...
Yes.
That was his whole thing.
It was
But he
super
had, like,
fucking
10
weird.
videos.
It was super weird, but we went down a hole, and we did that often. Like, there was a night where we also, like, went on the dark web.
Yeah, I did get a Tor browser. That
We're
was
delusional. Like, we started watching, like, dark web mystery unboxings. And,
My favorite part about having to, like, not having to get on the dark web, but to get onto the dark web was you couldn't have your laptop's time synced up to the time. So, like, you know how on phones and stuff, your clock is synced to some universal clock. That's why our phones are all the same. laptops do it too. Anything electronic that has a clock that's accurate like that,
Right.
it's synced up to something, and you can turn it off. And to go into the dark web with a Tor browser, you have to turn it off because
Why?
it's a bridge. You're connected to something.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was one of the coolest things was it would not let you into it. You couldn't log into the Tor browser if your clock was signed. It would just say unavailable.
I'm not going to lie, that's frightening. Everything about the dark web scares the shit out of me. Like, and I know some of those rumors aren't true. Like, some of the creepier websites didn't actually exist. But, like, the fact that we don't have access, like, I don't know. It just freaks me out. The fact that that exists.
Yeah. There's ways to get around it. And, like, yeah, it's all weird.
Like, do you remember, what was it, that drug website? Silk Road?
Yeah.
It's like, that was such a big deal when it got shut down.
Cause, yeah, it just could go. Do you remember the Pokemon Go website that they made?
No. What?
It was also called, that's the only segue, is that it was also called Silk Road. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever because it had the same name and nobody else understood. And I was like,
no.
that was one of the things I was like, oh, so we're not all into this?
Right.
What you were talking about? It's like, we don't all know.
We don't
drug
all understand
website.
that there was an underground black market of
Yeah.
selling, like, you could buy heroin like it was Amazon. Yo. And but I think that's why we can do a podcast like this. And it's there's so many true crime podcasts out there, ghost podcasts out there. Like, this podcast is meant to satisfy that, like, that itch of morbid curiosity in your brain that isn't, like, it's not one thing.
That's what I say. We will talk anything from ghosts to creepypasta to true crime. We're going to have a mix of it all.
Right.
So you don't have to listen to 10 different podcasts to get the same thing.
And every episode, so we're going to come in every episode, each with a different story. But
And we don't know each other's story.
exactly. And it's not necessarily going to be the same categories every episode, you know? Like, it's not like I'm always going to be with a true crime and Em's always going to have a ghost story or whatever. Like, this episode, I'm doing a ghost story and you're doing something.
I am doing something. I do have words written.
What is it?
A true crime.
A true crime?
It's the
Okay.
exact opposite of the example you gave.
Oh, okay. And then, like, next week, I'm going to come in with something that isn't either. I'm going to come in with something that's more of, like, a conspiracy, but still super weird and super creepy in nature. And, like, that's the vein we're going to follow. We're going to talk about...
You'll never know what's coming next. Kind
Exactly.
Of thing. It's always going to be just stuff we're interested at the time, want to talk about.
It's going to be kind of like a catch-all, you know? And we're going to look cute while doing it, but you can't see us.
Just take our word for it.
We're two literal ghosts.
Ooh.
And that's our Instagram bio. Speaking of,
Instagram.
our Instagram is Morbid and Mundane. Literally the same name as our podcast. Okay, and that was a shameless plug. We should also, probably, just an idea, introduce ourselves.
I was about to say, you called me Em, and they don't know what that means.
Okay. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
My name's Emily.
Do you want to be called Emily or Em?
I mean, M saves us time. These are going to be kind of long anyway.
It's more of the alliteration.
Yeah,
M.
no. It's M&M on M&M.
I hate this. I hate this. Okay. Tell me about yourself.
No.
No. Okay, fine. I'll go first.
No,
My-
I'm your cousin. I was like, you know, right?
No, it's fine. No. Okay, your name is Emily. M. A ghost.
Yes, a ghost.
Yeah.
I am a freshman in college.
Disgusting.
Get out of here with that.
We
Who would
probably
be a
should not.
freshman?
What's your major? Don't tell us where you go to school.
I
though.
wasn't going to say that.
Okay.
I don't want to be stalked. I don't think I will.
I really don't want to triangulate our location. We
We
already
are-
said our Louisiana.
They're just zeroing in.
It's getting closer and closer with every passing minute. They're analyzing our dialect.
They have our first name and what state we live in. We're good as gone, dude.
Literally, the dark web. It all came full circle.
I was about to say we're broadcasting to a group of people who's very into some twisted stuff. So it's very easy to cross the line into the twisted people also interested.
Getting a restraining order on everyone who clicks our iTunes link.
Oh, cool. So, I am majoring in electrical engineering.
Like a fucking nerd.
Dude, on the way here, this is such a, side note, but I was looking up cool electrical engineering jobs, And the first one was like top 10 electrical engineering jobs. And it was just some random news thing. And the first one was electrical engineering. I was like, thank you for the help. Got it.
God.
Yeah. So, but that is my major. I might minor in physics. Don't know.
Ew.
Like, I'm more of a nerd.
It gets worse every time. Every sentence.
Guys, could you guess? I play video games.
You're a fucking STEM major. Half of the listeners have already checked out.
Oh, so there's a math kid in here? Disgusting.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay. Well, I can't make eye contact with you. So
I know.
like it's like I feel so weird. I'm Mak with a K, and if you spell it with a C, I might cry. I hate it. I am not a freshman in college. I am a junior in college. I am older than Emily. And my major, I completely forgot my major for like 2 seconds. My brain went completely blank, is marketing, and I'm focusing in social media management.
Didn't you switch?
Yeah, I switched from communications to marketing, but because of the classes I took, I'm graduating with a minor in comm,
Okay.
like mass comm, so it's interesting. It's fun. It keeps me going, you know.
Very fun.
Really butters my biscuit. I switched my tabs from the intro to the research.
Oh, are we not? Is there no more intro to go
I
through?
mean, we've been talking for like...
A really long time, but I'm sure there's stuff to cut out.
Yeah. I'm nervous.
Yeah, but when you switch,
Yeah.
it rebrought all
It
the
rebrought all the
nerves.
nerves out. Okay, how do we want to... Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Shall we rock, paper, scissors?
No, because I think you should go first.
Oh, you just want me to go first?
Well, yeah, but you, like, majored in comms.
Oh, fuck
okay,
you.
So you, like, know what to do.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for my story. I would just like to say that at first I was going to do Vlad the Impaler, and there was no ghost content, and I was really disappointed. So I wanted to make everyone live that disappointment with me. But I know I'm doing something that you know of.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses, just out of curiosity? Anything.
I have no, like, hint of what you're doing. You're like, okay, so out of all the scary stuff that's ever happened,
Oh, okay.
guess.
Guess okay.
Right now.
I'm very excited for it, though. So I think that this story is something that, like, I personally, like, knew of and all that jazz, but I had never sat down and, like, watched a video on it, you know? Like, I never cared enough to, like, research it thoroughly until now. And there's a Ghost Adventures episode on it, like, multiple... Like, it's big enough so that a lot of investigators go there. I'm doing the Goatman's Bridge.
Okay. Yeah. I have heard of it.
Yeah. Get off my bridge, Goatman.
Yeah.
I actually, fun fact, I've never seen that video.
Oh, you just know it from, like, memes and
Yeah.
stuff?
I've
Yeah.
never seen the BuzzFeed Unsolved video. I started watching it, and then you walked in my door. And I was like, oh, I can't watch it if Em's here, because you can't know what I'm researching.
Ooh.
I
ruined
watched
it for you.
clips of the Ghost Adventures episode, but I would just like to credit that I got most of my research independently, obviously, but I also listened to the And That's Why We Drink episode on the Goatman's Bridge, and it's
a different M.
It's a different M. I hate that. M did a really good job of like formatting it in a way that was like pretty easy to digest. It was super weird though listening to that and doing my own research because I saw where M got their research. It was pretty interesting. But Goatman's Bridge, it's in Texas, which is already a red flag.
Oh, I thought it was up north somewhere for some reason.
Absolutely
so that
not.
already shows you how much I just like know of the concept.
Right.
I was like, yeah, that's definitely a northern thing. Huh?
That's in New Hampshire, Wisconsin,
Gotta
one
be.
of the fake states.
They're not real.
So it's also called the Old Alton Bridge, and it's named after a town that doesn't exist anymore. So, like, Alton doesn't exist anymore. It's nearby what is now Corinth. I don't know if you've been to Texas. Corinth, Texas.
No. I've been to Houston a couple times for robotics.
Oh, we get it. You make robots.
We get it. You're a nerd.
We get it. You're a STEM major. But, so, in the 1800s, 1850, actually, Alton was founded. And keep in mind, like, this, like, group of settlers, like, hopped around a lot. Like, I think Alton was its third spot to settle, out of like 5 or 6. They didn't stay here for long. They settle in Alton. They start, so it's founded in 1850, or at least that's when they submitted the application for a post office, is when they were like, yes, we are here and we're going to stay here. They built the church 5 years later, and then the next year, like a year after the church was built, in 1856, they had a few houses, a blacksmith, dates it, 3 stores total, 1 school, 1 saloon, 1 hotel, but get this, 2 doctors, and multiple lawyers.
They had stuff going on. They didn't need much people to need that many lawyers.
Right. They had 1 school, but at least 5 lawyers.
That's crazy.
Why?
Everybody heard, like, growing up that lawyers make a lot of money. So then they all became lawyers. And
They all just went to law school.
Nobody made enough money because there was, like, 2 cases.
Literally.
Like, something would happen at
and
the
they
school.
went to one of the other 4.
Yeah, no, you never got anybody. And you're like, well, I'm not making any money, so.
I mean, it also, like, probably helped, or, I mean, it probably hurt their business that the town pretty much closed down a year after. Like,
okay.
it just, so.
Too many lawyers.
I saw a few sources that said there wasn't enough water, and then I saw a few sources that said that the water supply, like, something was wrong with it, and people were getting really, really sick. So either way, they decided to pack up and move again. The post office closed in 1859, so it was literally 9 years after it opened, was like the total lifespan of this place. That's half of my life. I'm older than this town. Whoa. And the only thing left now, still standing, creepy, is the church and the cemetery. And that's it.
Oh, that's weird.
Isn't it? And the oldest tombstone in the cemetery is 1852, which is 2 years after the town was founded and 7 years before it was closed, which is weird to me.
Yeah, I don't.
Who's, like, you get there and then 2 years later you kick the bucket.
I mean, they moved around a lot too, though, so there could have been some, like, older.
You dig them up and take them with you. That wasn't funny.
They didn't get to it for 2 years. They had other things. They had too many lawyer offices to build.
But the bridge wasn't actually standing when the town was there. So it was 1884. So it's 30 years after this town is, like, kicks the bucket that this bridge is built. And it's still named after the town, which is weird. The bridge goes over Hickory Creek. It's not a creek. It's a whole ass river. Like, it's,
nope,
because, you
creek.
know, when I think of a creek, I think creek. I think of, like, a babbling brook, like rocks and shit. It's just a whole ass river.
Yeah, that.
You look at, like, drone shots. It's green. Like, it looks. I mean, it's
a river. It's a river.
It's the South. It's a gross river, is what I'm getting at. It's sometimes called the Old Alton Bridge. Still doesn't make sense to me. Argyle Bridge, but it's mainly called Goatman's Bridge. That's, like, what it's known as now. In 1998, it was registered as a historic place, and in 2001, another bridge was built over the same river, just, like, a little ways down, and it's a 2-lane. So, like, before, if somebody was coming from the opposite way, you would have to honk your horn to let them know you were coming, because the bridge could only fit 1 car.
Oh, I hate bridges like that.
Mm-hmm. So they built a 2-lane one a little ways down, and the Goatman's Bridge is still standing. It's just now closed for vehicles. But
Can you walk on it?
Yeah. So that's what I was about to say. So it's open to hikers and pedestrians. For a while, it was open for vehicles. In 2001, though, the same year the other bridge was built, no more vehicles now. It can still support them. You're just not allowed to drive on it. That's, like, the history of it. There's a few different, I don't want to say urban legends, but, like, ghost stories as to why it's haunted. And this is where, so every ghost story has, like, a sour taste. You know, nothing really good happens in those. This one, though, is specifically, like, kind of triggering, and I wanted to warn you. And if I laugh, it's because I'm extremely uncomfortable. It involves the KKK.
Okay.
And we're not happy. I'm very uncomfortable. So, in the 1930s, there was a black man named Oscar Washburn, and he owned a goat farm. He was known in town for like quality meat and cheese. He was pretty popular. Like everybody liked him, you know? And because of that, he put a sign on the bridge giving directions to his house so people could find him. And it said, "This way to the goat man."
Okay.
Right. So this was seen by a lot of people. And that includes bad people. And by bad people, I mean the original movement of the KKK. And I don't like that I also have to clarify that there's an original movement and more movements.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original movement of the KKK saw this and specifically saw that a black man was doing well for himself, owned his own business, didn't like that. So what they did was they drove across the bridge with their headlights off, which is very important. They stormed his farm in the middle of the night. They beat him up, and they dragged him to the bridge. I don't like this. Okay. They tied a noose around his neck. Allegedly, he begged for his life, and then he was thrown over the side. This is where shit gets weird.
Oh.
Because he wasn't. So they went down to check, to like confirm, look what we did. And there was no body. The noose hadn't come untied. They tied it tight. Like, there was no way he could have broken it. Nothing was undone. Nothing was cut. It was still a fully formed noose. He just wasn't in it anymore. And it was still tied tight. Like, that, a human head is not going to slip through that. They also never heard him hit the water below. There was no splash. There was nothing. Like, they weren't alerted to his escape or anything. They just went down to check and see if he was actually dead. There was also no footprints. Like, his body was just never found. This man just disappeared. So they're like panicking because on one hand it's like it's freaky. I mean, like, you try and commit a crime and then, your alleged victim disappears. So they decide to go back to his farm to try and like lure him out, I guess. And so they light his house on fire to try and draw him back in, like as like a last-ditch like rescue attempt.
Yeah.
He never showed up. He didn't go back home. He wasn't in the house. Like I said, his body was never found. And one by one, as his family came out, they were killed.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So his whole family died, but his body was never found. So he was never seen again, and supposedly his spirit was left behind, very angry and very vengeful. And that's where we get the goat man. Another version of the story is just as bad, it's just older, and it's in the 1860s. A group of this name, Copper Canyon Cowboys.
What a name. Wow.
Sounds like something from a video game. They chased and lynched a slave goat herder named Jack Kendall, but specifically a Creole slave. And they lynched him on a tree, because this was before the bridge was built. It was 20 years or so before the bridge was built. They lynched him on a tree nearby the river. And this is very much probably didn't happen, but it's still a fun story. Not fun, but you know what I mean. So they lynched him, and they messed up, and they accidentally decapitated him.
Oh.
Following that, bear with me, they watched as his headless body stood up out of the mud, supposedly reanimated by voodoo, and ripped the head off of a nearby goat to put it on his shoulders, because his head was still stuck in the noose.
So a goat man.
I would just like to clarify, though, that there's no documentation that either of these people actually existed. They very well could have. There very well could have just been a similar story that people attributed a different name to as like time went on. It is notable that one of the only reasons that people say Oscar isn't real is because the KKK didn't document his lynching, which is a little weird to me. Like, why would they want to document that? But I digress. I guess what I'm saying is, like, hopefully neither of those things actually happened.
Yeah.
Because that's some heavy shit. And heavy part over. Now we can talk about the fun shit.
Oh.
Okay? And by fun shit, I mean cults.
Oh, no. That's... Ooh, okay.
It just goes downhill, dude. So this bridge now, because of its, like, dark past, and specifically, like, lots of sightings of whatever it is lives in those woods, it is a hotspot for dark rituals, seances, and ghost sightings. Like, mwah, the piece de resistance. So, first of all, the bridge has been set on fire many times. Never burns down.
On accident or, like,
no.
on purpose?
Like, it's just, it catches fire, and then just nothing happens. Fire pops up a lot in this, too, which is interesting. But
in that first story you told, the house was on fire.
Right,
so, like,
exactly.
A ghost kind of thing.
Exactly. It's like it could be a vengeful spirit. It could be some sort of, like, manifestation. God only knows. But a lot of people believe that cultists accidentally opened, like, a portal to another dimension, a portal to hell, some people say. Lots of people see cult activity in these woods. Like, it's just common. So, specifically, 1977, let me clarify. I couldn't find documentation of this, right? This was something I heard from the And That's Why We Drink podcast that I thought was too good to leave out. I did try to find it. I found documentation of another missing girl, but this story was fun. I wanted to tell it. 1977, a little girl went missing in the woods, right? And police start searching for her. They never find her. But what they do find is an absolute mess of dead people, one of whom has her teddy bear.
Okay, so...
Yeah. So some of the theories are, because it was a woman who was holding her teddy bear, some of the theories are that, like, they tried to lure her in and something went wrong. Something hurt them because they were trying to hurt her. They were successful in hurting her. Like, God only knows. Her body was never found. It was literally just the teddy bear. Some people think that that woman who was holding it might have also been some sort of victim. Unclear. But it is confirmed that rituals do still happen in those woods. Common. Police officers, testified to having seen people in robes, people chanting. There's evidence of animal sacrifice, animals dying in abnormal ways. Like, I mean, their skin is all gone. Like, something dark is happening there. And at that point, my heart is beating so fast. Like, that freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, that, like, you know stuff is going on in those woods.
That. Imagine you go ghost hunting and you come across a cult. Like, at that point, the danger is not the ghosts anymore.
No, it's people. You could totally run into just a bad group.
It reminds me of... Do you remember when Sam and Colby did the videos in the ritual tunnel?
Oh, yeah. I watch them all the time.
Same. But it's like, wasn't it the first one... They ran away, right? They were being chased by someone.
Yeah, they were, and they believed, like, it was real people. They could see them. Mm-hmm. Like, they saw people go in. I think in one of the later times they went, though, that they upped the audio on it, and it was definitely teenagers yelling, "Bust down, Tatiana."
Oh.
So it was people being crazy, and it very much could have been, like, just as easy as it was teenagers just being annoying. Mm-hmm. It could have just as easy been a group of people that would really hurt you.
Genuinely.
Like,
and I remember, like, their last video in the ritual tunnel when they ran into that group.
Yeah.
And he got punched. Like,
yeah, no, they were beat up, and it was just two groups of people that were scared.
Right.
That, thankfully, like, it wasn't people, because they were at, like, the dead end of the tunnel.
Literally.
That one. And
Elton in the background going, "You have about 6 seconds to decide what you're gonna do."
I had to pause the video. I was like,
my heart was beating so fast.
I thought I had to decide something. I was like,
right.
wait.
The decision was weighing on me, and I was very frightened.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, at that point, it's just risky. Like, a lot of people go to this bridge, too. Like, it's similar to the ritual tunnels. People go because they hear about things that happened there. And the fact that there is evidence of, like, cult activities, like animal sacrifices, people go missing in those woods all the time. No, thank you.
Isn't it in the middle of nowhere, Texas, you said?
It's in the middle of some deep woods.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, when you get out there, you're just in a different kind of people.
It's there's also like sections of the forest that have baby dolls hanging from trees.
Ooh. Ooh. Imagine walking through the woods.
And something
Just
hits
like
you on the
on a hiking
forehead,
trail or
and
something.
it's just like Chucky.
Oh gosh.
That's just ominous. The amount of reports was so much that there's actually been like a lot of police in the area investigating things because of like the cult stuff. Specifically like the dark rituals, the seances, animals dying in unnatural ways, burned crosses, sightings of people in dark robes chanting, like things like that. It's a lot. There's also been a lot of sightings of like abandoned cars with their occupants just missing
Oh, like they get out to go check on something.
and they're just gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's got to be a ton of stuff on that road.
Yeah.
Where people pretend like they need help on the side of the road, and then there's people waiting behind the trees just to jump you.
And it's like on top of the danger that's already there, there's also the ghost stuff. And it's like the paranormal aspect of it. Like I'll get to a story later that like really shook me up about that, but other things besides like the real life, people also have testified to going temporarily deaf or temporarily blind in the woods, and they'll like announce it to their groups. It's like, guys, my vision's going blurry, and then like the next minute they just can't see anything.
Wow, that's
Right,
weird.
or can't hear anything. There's also been, this happened on the Ghost Adventures episodes, where random fires will start and then extinguish themselves.
Ooh.
Right? Fire, again, like it comes back. And there's also sightings of other ghosts. So I'm talking about everything before I talk about the actual goat man. The other two ghosts that people see in the area is supposedly there's the spirit of a missing girl. And she's known to point evidence out. Like, supposedly, like the bracelet she wore when she went missing. And supposedly a lot of people see her in the trees, not near the bridge.
Oh, like they could have been hung from something or
something. And then the other one, this I found was very interesting, is a woman wandering around and crying out for her child. A lot of people say that could be Oscar's wife searching for her children. Other people think that's La Lorena.
Oh, okay.
Right. I haven't done personally a lot of research into La Lorena. I did a little bit like when that movie came out, but like that's her thing. It's like the wandering around. It's a Mexican folktale of her wandering around. She supposedly like drowned her child or something. I might do it in a later episode because it's a lot. But she's connected to this because she haunts waterways. Specifically because she drowned her kid.
The first thing I thought of when you said it was the lady they found with the missing girl's teddy bear. Like maybe not looking for her kid, but looking for like the kid she was trying to help. If she was trying to help.
If she was trying to. I didn't even think about that until you just
yes,
said
as
something.
soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God, it's her. She's back. We've gone full circle. I love it.
Oh my God. Okay. Now, main course.
Okay.
The goat man is said to haunt the forest, the bridge, and the river. According to local legend, there's a few different ways to summon him. The first is by knocking on the bridge itself 3 times. And when you could drive your car over it, you could also get in your car and turn it off and honk your horn 3 times. And that would supposedly draw him out. The way you know that he's coming is you start to smell rotting flesh and you see his eyes before you see him. And some people describe it as, quote, this quote was too good, unholy, glowing red eyes that burn red from the darkness.
I think I've heard that quote before,
right?
But I like just didn't know it was this.
And a lot of people say the same thing, is like you see his eyes before you see the rest of him, or you feel him looking at you before you see the rest of him, you know?
Yeah.
So it's also said that if you cross the bridge with your headlights off, like the clan members did, he's waiting for you at the end.
That's scary.
Isn't
I was going
it?
to ask before we get to, like, where do you think the number 3 came from?
Just well, it's the mocking of the Holy Trinity.
I didn't know if I, like, missed something earlier. Like, how many Klansmen were there? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, like, something deeper. I don't know.
That's true. But, like, even in the And That's Why We Drink episode, because, like, I mean, we've known it too. It's like the most things that happen with ghosts in threes aren't good because it's a mocking of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Someone described it once as, like, sacrilegious, yes, but also, like, disrespecting the idea that there's something better. You know? It's why also demons will supposedly try to convince you that heaven isn't real.
Yeah. The same thing with the knocking.
Yeah.
If it's a knocking, it's a demon.
Right.
Not something just spooky.
Just spooky. Like I said earlier, there's been too many reports of abandoned cars. Like, no signs of their drivers, not crashed or anything, just stopped. Some, like, right near the bridge, so it was pretty clear that someone got out of their car and went onto the bridge. So it might have been cultists, but there's also, like, later on, there's some, like, he gets physical with people. Specifically, 1967, keep in mind that's 30 years after the supposed, or roughly 30 years after the supposed Klan attack onward. There's a very weird number of disappearances that the cops describe as alarmingly routine.
Ooh, I hate that.
Yep. That's why I put the quote in there.
Yeah. Alarmingly routine.
It became regular that people would go missing. That's some Pennywise shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's some every 27 years I come out and eat children shit.
He's on a schedule.
He's on a schedule. So, but the sightings of the goat man, okay? So, some people report literal sightings of a goat-headed man pacing in the woods, pacing on the bridge. People claim to have actually seen this figure. There's also the apparition, is cute, of a man herding goats, and he has one under each arm. He's just like herding his little ghosts, his little ghost goats.
Oh yeah,
which is charming.
I mean, in the moment though.
Oh no, I would shit my pants.
Walking through the woods and then there's just a man.
But if I have to choose between a goat herder and a man wearing a goat head.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like the better scenario.
It's the lesser of two evils at that point.
I would definitely prefer that.
If I had to choose between one that...
At least you get a whole ghost goat in one case. Like, you can... It's not just the head.
It's
like,
not just the head.
You get the full goat.
I hate it. Some people also think that it's not a man wearing a goat head. Some people report that it's a satyr. Like some Greek myth shit.
Okay.
And some people report seeing this satyr or human or goat human or whatever carrying the heads of humans or goats. So that kind of ties into like the Jack Kendall myth where he got up and he ripped the head off of the goat to put on himself. It's carrying heads. I also learned that the goat bridge has a sister.
Oh no.
It's called the Donkey Lady Bridge.
They point out lady.
I'm not even joking.
Where is that?
Texas.
Still
It's still Texas.
Is it the same waterway?
No.
Oh, okay.
I checked. It's a different part of Texas, but it's still Texas, and they're siblings. They're raised in the same household, different parents. I swear to God.
Wow.
It's the fact that it's Goat Man Bridge.
Yeah.
Donkey Lady Bridge. I hate it. So. Lots of people went back when you could still drive on it. A lot of people would testify to like hearing knocks on their cars or banging. Some people even described the sound as sounding like hooves because like your hand sounds different than something hard like a hoof would. Some people get out of their cars and then are locked out of their cars. Some people,
like that.
I hate that. Some people, like, their car doors will start locking and unlocking automatically, like, without them touching anything. So that happens sometimes when the cars are off. Like, it's a whole lot. And people also say that, like, a lot of these experiences are also auditory. So you'll hear, like, splashing in the creek. You'll hear laughing in the creek. It's been described as maniacal laughter.
Ooh.
You hear hooves on the bridge. You hear growling, inhuman growling. Specifically, like, multiple people have said that they have been told to get off of the bridge. One investigator ran off the bridge afterwards. He was like, okay, you're telling me to go. I'm dipping.
out.
His friend stayed on, and this guy watched as his friend was dragged towards the railing and thrown over into the river.
Did he live?
Yes.
Okay, jeez.
But like, and that has happened multiple times because people don't go alone, but it's like another person watched their friend get like picked up and thrown like several feet in the air. Like, this is
Ooh.
right, like I said, he gets physical, like he's interacting physically with these people. It's not like I'm just gonna knock a lamp over. It's I'm gonna push you over a fucking bridge.
You know what, like, an interesting thing, how you said, like, you usually see his eyes first.
Mhm.
Like, if he isn't facing you and you never see the eyes, you can't see him. Because, like, Spiderwick Chronicles, that wonderful movie, they couldn't see anything until they got, like, the guy spit in their eye. And that's what it reminded me of, so I thought I'd share with the class.
You of the Spiderwick Chronicles?
Dude, I would sneak that book to nap time and, like, read it. But they always thought I was napping, because I got Skittles at the end of the day.
Okay.
But no, like, really, like, you say he gets physical, but they can't see anything getting physical
Right.
with them. It'd be such an interesting thing if, like, that's why you always see the eyes
Right.
first. That, like, that lets you see him or
Right.
something.
And then people also like see lights, not eyes, but lights, and specifically lights because you'll see like an orb out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And you turn back and it's not there and you're confused. Those don't go away. So like you'll turn to look and you'll be looking at an orb.
Ooh.
Right. And it's just not disappearing. Some people say like the thing with the heads, but also the goat man has also been known to scratch and throw rocks at people.
Ooh.
One investigator she was sitting on a bridge, like not the bridge. She was sitting on a bench near the bridge, and she could feel someone behind her, like looking at her. So this woman, smart, takes a selfie
Oh.
to see what's behind her, and she said that she could see like a person, like the outline of like a figure behind her. You could see his shadow on the ground, and she started feeling this burning sensation on her arm. And when she lifted it up, she had 3 scratch marks.
Ooh.
Another investigator, it's like similar story, different feel, but she said she felt a burning on her back, and when she lifted it up, 3 scratch marks on her back. Like, he's known to hurt people. He also, the picking people up and the several feet in the air, like, he's gonna be physical and it's never gonna be nice. But he also seemingly has a weird effect on women specifically. So female investigators will typically testify to like losing control of their thoughts and their feelings. And when Em talked about it and That's Why We Drink, they talked about it as sort of like a minor possession thing, where they say they don't feel in control. They have thoughts of hurting their friends, and like start acting completely out of character, like very angry and very irrational. This actually happened to someone on Ghost Adventures.
Ooh.
And she didn't know. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just acting for the cameras, because she wasn't there when they were interviewing people talking about this topic specifically. But later on the bridge, she was, you could tell something was wrong. She was acting really abnormal, crying for no reason, and then suddenly really angry. Specifically, there's a point where she's staring at Zach like she's gonna hurt him. And later, like completely independently of all of this, she said that she was having visions of attacking him.
Oh, wow.
And like it's a lot. She goes back into the woods later too, to like confront it or whatever, and she falls to the ground and has like a huge red mark on her face. Like, it's a lot. And that happens to multiple women. Multiple female investigators testify pretty much the same thing, and specifically the visions of hurting their friends.
That's so weird.
Right. And it like body hops too. Like, it's not going to affect everybody. It's going to pick one person, and when it's done with you, it's going to leave, and then it's going to go to the next person. And like, that's why a lot of investigators start fighting with each other on this bridge. It's like it's trying to make you hurt each other.
Yeah, it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't,
Right.
like, show itself kind of thing.
Exactly. And, like, maybe it's just a theory. But, like, so it can throw a grown man over the bridge. But, like, if there's 7 people, what's it gonna do? You know, like, you're outnumbered at that point. And I can only imagine that if this is based off of a story of a man who was overpowered, like,
yeah.
that'd be a threat. Like, you'd see a large group of people as terrifying, you know, like, because they can overpower you and throw you over that bridge. So it's like, it makes sense if you're attacking each other.
I also thought about, like, what if from the first story you had told, what if he had known someone that attacked him that night? Like, somebody in the area
that was
pretended
part of the
to be, like, friends with him, but then was just doing that to get information or something. So he, like, makes other people attack people that they are supposedly friends with.
Right.
Kind of thing.
That's fucked. And also, like, people also say they feel like they're being strangled.
With both stories involving nooses.
Which I hated.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and that's the thing is, like, sure, these stories might be completely fabricated, but the fact that people are testifying to, like, the fires, the being thrown over, the hearing, like, noises in the water and things like that, the strangulation aspect of it, like, even if all of that story is fabricated, parts of it are ringing true, and it's a little uncomfortable. But there's one last story I want to talk about. So there was this girl, and she moved to Texas, and her friends were super keen on getting evidence of the goat man, so much so that they drove up there one night. When they pulled up, there was a car crashed into the side of the bridge, like it had swerved to get out of the way of something. And the windshield was completely shattered, and it was 2 guys, 2 able-bodied young men, who were terrified, super freaked out. They said that there was a man with a huge goat head that smashed into their window. It was to the point where, like, these girls thought they were drunk, so they called the police and they breathalyzed them and everything. Like, those men were not intoxicated, not on anything, not even alcohol, like, completely sober, and would swear up and down that a goat crashed into their windshield, ran them off the road, like, into the barrier of the bridge. The same girl goes back a few years later. She goes with her friend on Halloween night at midnight.
Spooky.
Mm-hmm. They walked onto the bridge, and she said that she immediately had this feeling that she shouldn't be there, and that she didn't want to be there. Something was really wrong. The vibes were not it.
Ooh.
Not immaculate. So once in the tunnel of trees, because there's a, leading up to it, they turned on a voice recorder, and they talked, they asked questions, and specifically they picked up on a very loud scream of someone telling them to leave. So they left.
Good idea.
And she went back a 3rd time. She goes back with a spirit box now with her husband. She goes back with a spirit box and also like one of those apps that, like, show one word. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
On her phone, and also a camera. So they went a few times before this and they caught nothing. But this last time they caught a few things, and specifically they felt the sensation of someone watching them. So they started asking questions, and they addressed him by name. They called him Oscar. And the article actually, like, showed the pictures of her phone of what the words displayed. So they asked Oscar what happened to him, and the word cord popped up. Mm-hmm. They asked what happened to his family, and sharp appeared. They also, I just added this one as like her husband was wearing a camo shirt, and Oscar called him a soldier. And that's the Goat Man's Bridge.
That's intense. That's
Yeah.
intense. I like that there was a lot of stories, though.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go. I definitely want to go in the daytime, though.
And what was that bit about specifically female investigators are attacked?
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Okay, so
You want to be thrown over the side of the bridge?
I mean, if the other guy lives, so, like, how far is it?
It's a pretty far drop.
I mean, if somebody says leave, I'm getting off the bridge. I'm not going to be like the guy that got thrown off. Like, he had a warning.
He
did have a
the goat
warning.
man at least. Someone also said, and I didn't know if it was true. I only saw it in one source, so I didn't include it. Some people said that he only attacks people that specifically have ancestors who were either slave owners or Klansmen.
Oh, that you have to go pretty deep to
Right.
get that connection.
And that might not be true, but
yeah. It also is, it's this in Texas in the South.
Exactly.
So the likelihood of it sucks to say, yeah, but
hate it.
the likelihood of someone with that in their past,
right.
you'll find the correlation even if it's not his
Right.
his go-to thing.
Valid.
I don't know, just something
I mean,
Thought
you're not
about.
wrong.
yeah. I don't think he has ancestry.com. So like
Ancestry.com.
I don't know.
Ancestry. He Googles you real quick. It's like, yeah, this guy's cool.
That's why like you have a moment to like get on the bridge because he's like, who's that? All right.
He's too busy like looking up your Instagram.
Yeah,
Like,
scrolling through. Have they
scrolling
done
through.
anything I don't like?
Facebook.
Am I about to cancel this nerd? All right.
Oh, they have a license plate cover that says something stupid. That's it.
I mean, that's acceptable.
No.
No, it's not.
Absolutely not. Okay, so what have you got for me?
All right, so mine is kind of recent, so you might have heard of it.
Oh, no.
Happened in 2019, so like not that long ago at all. It happened in Florida. So.
Oh, that's already a red flag.
Oh, yeah. It gets there. It definitely lives up to the Florida standards, but just a little backstory, just so you kind of know what's going on. It's a couple of names because it's a family of 5.
Okay.
The mom is Margaret. The dad is Chad. Just remember Chad, Dad. It's easy.
Dude, my brain auto-corrected Chad to, like, a frat boy in my head. I'm picturing...
not dad.
I'm picturing, like, your dad, but with a baseball cap and, like, a chain.
Chad, Dad. That's
Chad, Dad.
And then they had 3 sons. The oldest is Jason. The middle son is Cody. And the youngest son is Grant.
Why do they all have privileged white boy names?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
That was not in the case file. Like, I'm sorry. I wish I had an
Is
answer.
one of them a Gemini? Just not.
I don't know,
I guarantee
man.
you, we roll the dice out of 5 of them, at least one of them's a Gemini.
They gotta be. What if that was just in the courtroom? Oh, he's a Gemini? Okay. I don't think
Okay.
I said the case name. I think I just said it was a pretty
Yeah.
recent. Their last name is Amato, so it's the Amato case.
I don't know what this is.
Okay. That's good.
Like the
I
cask
was-
of Amontillado?
No, Amato.
Amato.
What's a motto with you? I shouldn't make that joke, but I had to. I just thought of that. I'm so proud. Okay, so from all reports of just like questioning family stuff, these people were pretty close, like a well-off family. They lived in a nice house.
Okay.
The mom was a client operations manager at a healthcare place, and the dad was a clinical pharmacist.
They sound like Karens.
Yeah, no, they had nice cars, a nice house, but they were like nice people. The mom had rescued a horse, loved the
Oh.
horse, was always down at the stables. The dad was like a nice guy, but on the stricter side of parenting.
Okay.
And they say that, but then you get later in the story and you're like, are you sure? And I'll explain what that means when
you
we
sure?
get there.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, so he was like more old school. You didn't want to make him mad. That's like
Okay.
the only thing. But like other than that, a good dude. When the oldest son was 19, he moved out. So not around. He like is off doing great, has his own family.
Right.
Again, just one of the sweetest guys you'll meet.
So sorry.
And then so the younger 2 brothers were the only sons left in the house, and
Okay.
they were only 1 year apart. Jason was a little bit older than them, not so close in age. He had a different dad, so like
Okay.
it was after Margaret and Chad got married that these 2 came along, and they were a year apart. So they went to high school together, and supposedly did everything together.
Okay, and this is what are their names again?
Cody and Grant, the youngest
Cody
2.
and Grant.
Yeah,
And
Co-
Jason is off.
Jason has moved out. Cody is the middle one, so he's a year older than Grant.
Right. And these 2 have the same dad.
Yes, Chad.
Chad dad.
Chad dad. And Grant at this time was said to be kind of a lonely, quiet kid.
Okay.
So they would always hang out because his friends were Cody's friends. That's how he made
Okay.
friends. It was like whatever Cody was doing, Grant was invited along with him.
Right.
Just because Grant had nothing else to do.
And they were so close in age.
Yeah, they were like, and growing up, like, a lot of the family says that the brothers were the closest siblings could be. Like, all three of them just got along great.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, no, just, like, a nice family. Just...
It sounds like a nuclear family, just, like, without the daughter.
Yeah, just 3 boys.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
But, like, set up for success.
So...
I just caught a glimpse of your notebook. Like, I can't see the words. I just see walls of text, and I'm very frightened.
It is text.
You should let the listeners know that it's in a very specific composition notebook.
It is a blue shark notebook with a red spine.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So all of the boys, I'm not sure about Jason, but I know for sure Cody and Grant, the younger two, the friend ones, they all went in the medical direction, just like the parents were, just kind of passed through the family. Grant specifically went to UCF, University of Central Florida.
Okay.
And I forgot to say it. They live in a town just like right outside of Orlando, so right in the middle of Florida. Right. So not the University of Central Florida is close enough.
Yeah.
And he gets a degree in nursing in 2011.
Oh, that's recent.
Yeah,
only 10 years ago.
I was 10 in 2011.
I was 11 in 2011.
Wow. We did some math, didn't we? And so flash forward. After he's got his nursing degree, he's working in a hospital. Grant, the one that went to UCF.
Grant's the quiet one.
Grant's the quiet one. Grant, I'm going to spoil it, is our main character.
I don't like it.
No, but it's okay because I tell you a little bit about him that makes him seem like the main character right now.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so he gets his degree. He's doing great. We're
proud of him.
He's the youngest in the family, and he's doing great in the medical stuff. So just like doing well off like everybody else.
Right.
Everything's going fantastic. And then in 2018, Grant is like 28 at this time.
Right.
28, 29, like about to be 30.
I'm graduating high school.
Yeah. He gets fired from the hospital he's working at.
Okay.
And he is fired because they found him with 8 vials of propofol in his pockets. And I didn't know what that was at first, but it is a heavy sedative used for surgery. It's to knock you out kind of thing. Grant was arrested for grand theft because that's a pretty intense thing to steal. And
how many vials?
8 vials of propofol.
8 vials of this sedative.
Yeah. And he claims his whole thing was that he was taking it to patients that he felt weren't being accurately sedated. So, like,
okay,
he thought that whatever doctor was in charge wasn't giving him enough. That's his whole claim.
Right.
They can't.
Like he was just helping.
Yeah, he was stealing it to keep in the hospital.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, his whole thing, they can't prove that. He totally could have been like trying to take it to a party or something, or he could have been trying to sell it. But his whole thing was, I'm taking it to patients that I felt like weren't sedated enough, and just I needed to do it fast so they were sedated properly for surgery. And then the crazy thing about this is that, he's arrested for grand theft.
Okay.
For a heavy sedative, all charges are dropped because the hospital knew that if they charged him with that they would get lawsuits for the patients that could have been harmed because of that. So the hospital just dropped everything.
Holy shit.
Because if they don't try him on it, they can't get lawsuits for it.
Because they could get sued because they weren't keeping an eye on him.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So they just, huge red flag, and it's all dropped.
That's crazy. That's, wait. This man, 8 vials of sedative. All of the charges are dropped. Not even not even a minor theft charge.
No, nothing. He's good. He's fired from the hospital is his only consequence. Of course, they don't want him around, but to do that could have cost them the hospital.
Right.
With lawsuits.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's So nothing happens, and at this point, he still lives at home, so it's not like he has to his parents are taking care of him still.
Right.
It's not like he's like, oh no, where am I gonna work to afford living? Him and Cody at this point both still live at home.
Okay.
And they're 28, 29, 30 in that range.
Okay.
So 30-year-olds living at home. It's not the most average thing, but
I mean, if you have a good house, I
yeah,
guess.
it's a
like,
nice
if you have a
house.
good relationship with your parents.
And yeah,
And plus, they're still
makes
friends,
sense.
right? They're like best friends.
Yeah,
Those were the
they're
two?
close.
Okay.
Yeah, both
Just
into
did-
games, both into anime.
Does Jason just disappear?
He comes back.
Okay, I thought this man just dropped off the face of the earth, and he was
No,
like, "I'll
he's
handle
out here. Everything you read about him is he's just this great dude out here has his own family, doing
it."
great.
He's thriving.
Jason out here doing work.
Good for Jason.
So of course the family's disappointed.
Right.
I would be a lot more than disappointed. That's why I was like, are we sure Chad's strict? I think if I had a kid who stole 8 vials of heavy sedative, I would be a lot more than disappointed.
Right.
I'd be like, whoa.
I'd be like, you need to go to prison.
Like, we should do, but yeah, he was just allowed to live at home, no consequences, other than he was fired. And
That's crazy.
there's high tensions because of it. Like,
Yeah.
he needs to find a job, and he kind of just isn't. Being lazy is sad. Like, he wanted to work in the medical field. Supposedly sad, you know.
Right.
It's just coming from the family. He doesn't find new work for a while, though. Like, he's just kind of living at home now.
Okay.
Try not to flip my page. So I hit the mic.
It's
I
okay.
called
We can
it.
cut it out.
No, I know, but I knew I was going to hit the
Hit the
mic.
mic.
Yeah. He lost all motivation, would sit in his room all day, just like an actually lonely kid now.
Okay.
Just a loner kid who won't come out of their room, always playing games, always on the internet, and would just ask for money. And his family's well off, so a lot of times they would just give it to him. If he wanted to buy a game or needed to, he didn't do much, but like if he needed gas.
Right.
But his family would just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. And if the parents wouldn't give it to him for some reason, just like, no, not right now, Grant, go find a job, please.
Get
He
out
would
of
ask-
my house. You stole 8 vials of sedatives from a hospital and got fired.
Yeah, I wouldn't be giving him
You
money.
deserve prison time.
Like, yeah, no, strict Chad, sure. But if the parents said no, he would just go to Cody. And since they were really close brothers, Cody a lot of times would just be like, yeah, dude, I'll help you out. Not ask questions, just give him what he needed.
I guess
And like,
that's cute.
yeah, like they were really Cody was so just devoted to his brother, like wanted to keep a good relationship with his family.
Admirable.
Didn't want to lose his brother because he was going through something when he worked at the hospital, to
Right.
put it nice, like doing whatever he was doing with propofol. But yeah, so
Doing whatever he was doing with propofol.
he eventually, as the lonely kid in his room, doesn't do anything, doesn't go out, see people. He eventually winds up on a website called myfreecam.com.
Oh no.
This is an X-rated cam girl website. Like, it's not just, looking at cute girls. It some very sexual stuff happens.
Pornography.
Yeah, it's just it's live porn.
Right.
It's a very X-rated website. It's for viewing cam girls, and you could pay for one-on-one time. You could pay to send them stuff, like if they had a wish list, or if you wanted to send them stuff to model.
Okay.
And you could just watch their streams, kind of like
X-rated Twitch.
yeah. So you could watch the free stuff, and then you could do a little bit extra if you paid. Grant is on the site. They can prove was on there for a while, and eventually finds this girl Sylvie from Bulgaria that is said to, that's a screen name. That's not her real name.
Right.
We do not know her real name. Just, I say it later, I think, too, but there's some witnesses that our names are blacked out on the court documents. So I'm thinking her real name's on there.
Yeah.
And that she wanted to keep her real name out of it and just use the screen name because that's what he knew her as.
Right.
But anyway, he
It's
finds
just safer that way.
yeah, so she doesn't I don't know, doesn't want bad people coming to oh, if this guy loved her so much, I want to go see what she looks like. Just didn't want that kind of thing.
Good for her.
Yeah.
If she
So
can stay private. So many victims don't have that option.
he gets to the point, Grant. the youngest son. We'll just reiterate some of the family things. I know it's a lot of names.
I get the Chads all confused.
The Chads.
They all sound the same. I'm picturing
Cody.
the same image for all of them.
Just shorter.
Except for Cody, I'm picturing Cody from Zack and Cody.
Oh, Cody from Surf's Up is where I go. The penguin.
My gosh.
I'm stabbing over there. Cody from Surf's Up. So, but anyway, Grant is at the point he's obsessed with this girl, addicted to watching Sylvie, knows when she gets online, like her normal streams. And he just keep coming back would watch 4 hours. They can just see him sitting on here, just watching. And he claims that they were actually in love. Like were. It's not going in the direction you're thinking, though. I promise it's so much worse. It's
but
so
it's like isn't that like a stalker thing? Is it's like you have one interaction with them, or like isn't it like it's like some crazy Criminal Mind episode, like they bump into you in the supermarket and suddenly they think you're secretly in love with them and you just can't say it?
That's what I thought. I thought that's where this case was going. And I want you to know it very much isn't.
Okay. I'm prepared. I'm listening. I'm so scared.
Yeah, no, so he tells Sylvie in these chats online that he is a wealthy gamer on Twitch, like we were just talking about.
No.
This is a very recent, like it's
2018.
2019 is when the trial was. Yeah, so he lived in a fancy apartment by himself, drove nice cars, like a BMW, I think was what he had said.
So this is
just
his, like,
living
Chad
it up.
Sona.
Yeah, his online Chad-sona. And
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Instead of a Republican Sona, I want a Chad-sona.
Don't we
I
all?
drive a 2000 whatever Nissan Sentra. Okay.
Yeah, and like I have his Instagram on here. Another thing, we will be linking stuff on Discord. But I'll give that all at the end. But you can find pictures of him where he's acting as this person. Like has cash up in the picture. Just trying to like act like a rich gamer.
I'm screaming internally.
Yeah, no, it's intense.
I'm so excited to see it.
He paid for one time a lot with the same girl. It's always Sylvie.
Okay.
And he believed that the more he spent and the more time he spent and the more he like showed this identity, the more that she would be in love with him.
Okay.
So he would sit there for hours with one-on-one time. Like, to break down, we'll backtrack a little bit. This website worked in tokens. You had to buy tokens.
Okay.
And 90 tokens was 1 minute.
Okay.
Which seems like a lot of tokens. And it is because he would purchase tokens by the 5,000. 5,000 tokens cost $600.
How many minutes is that?
It gets you about, I did the math earlier. It's 55 minutes, so about an hour. Cost him $600.
Yeah, it's 55
Yeah.
minutes. An hour costs
$100 to talk with, like it's by the minute. You're supposed to like get on there,
Get your
ask for
rocks off
something.
and leave.
Yeah, no, it's not. And he would spend multiple hours. So yeah. He even got it to the point where he was buying like stuff for her to model and buying her toys to try. So like that's stuff that has to get sent to Bulgaria, you know. It's not cheap. It's not like you're going to the store. It's like you order online stuff to get sent somewhere, kind of thing. So that's even more money that's not in on that 600 charges he was doing. And so at first, in the beginning of this, when he first starts, you know, really liking it with Sylvie, he would spend 4 hours a night, $2,500 a night, talking to a cam girl.
Okay, that's 28 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And each hour was worth how much?
$600. So
almost $17,000 a week.
Yeah. So it was bad. So yeah, like we said, $2,500 a day. Insane amount of money to talk to this girl.
Oh my God.
And he's not working. He doesn't have money. You know, this is all coming from him asking for family members' money. Just like not saying it. The family didn't know that he was doing this.
How do you just not notice your kid asking for $17,000 in a week?
He wasn't asking for large sums at a time.
Oh,
Would ask for like
a squirrel.
Kind of saving stuff up to do it. And he also Oh, just as a side note, he started more and more, would get more and more addicted. It got to the point in November of 2018, they can see from bank statements, he got to his high score. He was averaging $20,000 per night watching a cam girl, sending her stuff. Like, I hate to say this, but she made a lot of money.
Good for her.
Like, she's living it up in Bulgaria.
Holy shit.
Insane. Insane amount of money. So again, this man's broke, getting this money from somewhere.
And that's all donations too. That's a loyal customer, baby.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody gave, that's like a sugar daddy at that point.
Yeah,
you
don't.
Money funneled into your bank account.
You're not gonna think, and he's telling her, "I'm a rich gamer.
Right.
I make all this money on Twitch just as fast as I'm giving it to you."
And every day he's just proving that to her.
Yeah, he wants to prove that I'm this rich guy. I can afford to spend this time with you. He wants her to love him because of that money. So they figure out how he's getting that money is not only was he asking for money, he was stealing family members' credit cards. Not like he would take the information down, not keep the cards. And, side note, Chad loved to work on computers and taught his sons how to work on computers.
Okay.
They figure out Grant is using this information to hack into his family's bank accounts and steal money.
Oh my
Transfer money to him in his own bank account, 'cause it's all together. Just from the immediate family. But remember, this is a financially well-off family. So, he was just taking what he could find. They eventually do notice because this man was spending $20,000 a night on a cam girl. I couldn't find anything of saying when they noticed. So November is when he hit that bad mark. I don't know how long after it is when they they confront him about it because they figure it out. He tells them at this point, they don't know anything about Sylvie. They don't know about the X-rated website. He tells them that he's using this money to promote his Twitch, to get more followers and subscribers, and that it would eventually pay itself back. He'd make it all back and pay everybody back.
So he's just a liar.
He's just a crazy bad liar. And Cody believed him, so he just kept okay. He offered to help pay everybody back, just in case Twitch didn't work out. Cody's just a nice brother.
I wish the best for him.
Oh
no.
So after that, it kind of cools down for a little bit while. Grant is still taking money, but they have this whole story. Again, I don't really believe the whole Chad is strict thing because I would go off.
$20,000.
I wouldn't just be slap on the wrist. Okay, keep having fun in there, kiddo. Play your video games. Have fun on Twitch. What?
I open my bank statement and see that oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it gets bad. But it kind of, after Cody says, I'll help pay people back. I'll kind of, help you do whatever you're doing on Twitch. Mm-hmm. They, in December, Cody takes Grant's broke again, so Cody's paying for Grant to go, and a friend to Japan.
Okay.
I said earlier, they all liked anime, they all like games. We're going to tour, animation studios, and just enjoy the culture and have fun, kind of get away from all the high tension at home with Grant not having a job and also stealing thousands of dollars.
And credit card theft.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
But on the last day of the trip, Grant says he's not feeling well and wants to stay back at the hotel. Because they have to leave in a little while and just wants to rest before they have to get on the plane.
Right.
And the others go off to explore on their last day. Grant had actually, before they left, stolen the friend's credit card.
No.
And went to a local, I couldn't figure out what it was, just a local business that had Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And watched Sylvie in there. I
That's
couldn't figure out.
going to Starbucks and just pulling up porn.
Yeah, it was only an hour. He spent $600 off this person's credit card because he would buy the tokens at $600 groupings. So it was always $600 charges is how they connected together of how much was going to Sylvie. And the friend gets a call from either like a family member or like when people have the banks that call them.
Say, like that would look like fraud.
Yeah, I think it was the bank calling, but then there was also something that said that it was like it didn't say the bank, so I wasn't sure. But I think it's the bank because the first thing said the bank. Asking about the $600 charge, and that's when he realizes he can't find it.
Yeah.
And they find Grant, and he's like, yeah, it's stolen. So they get back. The friend doesn't press charges or anything, probably because Cody was like, please, he's my brother.
Right.
Kind of thing. Just like, I'll pay you back. Cody was always like, I don't want my brother to be in trouble.
Right.
I feel bad for him. I want to help him.
Is Grant the youngest?
Grant is the youngest.
Okay.
So he's like a baby brother.
Right.
I don't want my baby brother's just struggling.
Yeah.
You know, I got to help him out. Throw him a bone.
It's like older. Like it's your instinct to
Yeah.
protect your...
He's like, he's probably feeling like he lost his job.
Yeah.
He might even believe that I was just trying to help patients. I really didn't understand that was wrong kind of
Right.
thing. He but would always try to help his brother.
Right.
They get back and Chad is pissed, you know, strict old Chad.
Oh, so strict.
So strict. Just, you know, he's angry. And then this is the point when the dad looks further into his end of the year bank statements and realized a lot more money was missing than they thought. This is kind of when they realized the $20,000 night stuff and not the $600 individual charges.
Right.
They realized how bad it was. And
that's credit card fraud.
yeah, no, that's
That's just flat out fraud.
They don't want him to go to jail. They say it a lot. We didn't want him to go to jail. We didn't want to call the cops on him. We were just going to work it out as a family.
Right.
But they get into a fight. This is one of the it gets to a point.
Grant?
No.
Or no, not Cody. Chad.
Chad and Grant.
Chad
yeah,
and Grant.
the dad and the youngest brother get into a fight, and Grant drives off, and the mom calls the cops right away.
Right.
She's like, my kid's been lonely. He got fired. I think he saying like he might kill himself kind of thing. Was just like really worried for his son, and that's why they weren't calling. They didn't say anything about credit card fraud.
Right.
Or what he was doing. Just saying like,
safety.
I don't know where he's going, and I think he's gonna hurt himself. So like it's a nice phone call because they really just don't want the kid to be in trouble. I say kid, he's 30.
Right.
I don't want to like kind of breeze through their high school thing. He's not in high school anymore. He's a 30-year-old out of college, had a job.
Right.
But they're still just like loving on him, like the youngest kid. Just don't want to see him go down a bad path.
Right.
Their youngest one. He goes
I'm so sorry, but he's been down a bad path.
He's been. I mean, there was some warning signs, guys.
He got fired for sedatives.
Grand theft.
$20,000.
That's insane. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe Chad was strict. If my kid was stealing $20,000 from me,
my kid
they would no longer be my kid. They'd be out so fast.
Yo, at that point,
I'd be called you can't leave that without consequences.
No,
That's
literally.
an insane amount of money.
And multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple nights.
Yeah, that was per night, the $20,000.
Okay.
But Grant, they figure out Grant goes to the aunt's house. So he's not driving off and running away. He goes to the aunt's house. The aunt says he can stay there.
Do you know if this aunt is Chad's sister or his mom's sister?
Chad's sister.
Okay.
And the aunt in question, he says he seemed very depressed at this time, very lost, just looked like hopeless at this. So she was like, of course, come stay with me. I don't know what's going on at home. Just stay here a couple nights. And after a few days of staying there, the aunt and a couple of the other people in the house noticed weird charges on their credit cards, which Grant had stolen the information off of yet again.
I'm gonna scream.
Our lovely little Grant back at it again with his funny little tricks he plays, his pranks.
Credit card theft.
Yeah,
credit card fraud.
That's literally how they treat it, though. Like, it's just some prank.
Like,
but his Twitch, he's gonna pop off on Twitch.
He needs $20,000
a night on Twitch. They're like, these games are expensive, but I guess it's what makes the boy happy.
I'm gonna
The 30-year-old boy happy.
The 30-year-old boy.
Yeah. So he would watch Sylvie on the family computer at night. Would steal the cards, would sleep all day, so they never saw him, and they realized he was using the computer at night to watch this girl Sylvie.
Okay.
The aunt calls the dad, her brother Chad, and is like, hey, your kid is here, and he stole a lot of money from the rest of us here, And Chad then is when they tell the aunt what's been going on. So the aunt didn't know that Grant had run away because he owed everybody a lot of money and that everybody was kind of getting mad. They didn't warn her to hide the credit cards. I think there's something that they didn't know that's where it went yet.
Okay.
It was
that's
only...
That's a little more excusable.
Yeah, so, like, I'm just surprised the aunt didn't call. I think it's got to be something like Grant said, don't tell him I'm here. Right. We had a fight. I just need a couple nights and I'll go talk to him.
Right.
Kind of thing, because it was only, like, 2 days he had been there and then, like, stealing. It was a very short time span.
Oh, my gosh.
And Chad hears this and, like, breaks down and tells her, like, crying on the phone, tells her everything.
Oh, so strict.
Yeah. Strict old Chad, crying on the phone.
Crying on the phone because he fucked up.
Yeah, but there's also another reason to cry, because at this point, the immediate family alone, not counting what he had just stolen from the aunt, is in $150,000 in debt. Like, it was a big hole he had dug for the whole gang. So Chad's got a reason to break down at this point.
That's more than my college tuition.
That's an insane amount of money.
That is...
No, it's more than mine, too. Like, I read that, and I was like...
$150,000?
How does nothing, like, pick this up, that this family is spending that much? Like, that just looks bad.
Right. Like, I get they're well off, but, like, the guy in Japan, his bank calls him because that's fraud. You mean to tell me that a bank wouldn't pick up, like, a $20,000 charge to a credit card?
But then they ask the people, like, is this right, you know? And Chad said, I don't think they have the thing, because Chad said he didn't realize until they checked the bank statements in December at the end of the year.
Which is crazy.
This is still in December, by the way, just to give you a time frame.
December of 2018. 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're almost to 2019. Chad begs the aunt not to press charges or anything. They don't want Grant to go to jail. They feel like he needs more help, is what they're saying at this point. They're like, the jail won't help him. It'll probably just get worse. He'll come out mad at everybody.
Like bitter.
Yeah, and like that's just not healthy. They want to keep the peace in the family.
Right.
So they're like, we want to get him help. We want to take him somewhere because he's like, something's wrong. They thought he had like an internet addiction or a money spending addiction at this point. They don't know Sylvie exists at this point. They have no...
They still think he's spending money on Twitch?
They think he's just... Yeah. They think he's like taking it, spending it on games or something.
They don't know it's a sex
shelling
thing.
It out. They don't know Sylvie exists at this point.
Okay.
It's all... They really just think he has some internet problem.
Okay.
Addicted to the internet kind of thing. The parents and the two brothers. So Jason is back at this point.
Okay. Jason
and Cody and Margaret and Chad, the parents, plan an intervention at the aunt's house. So
So everyone's involved.
Yeah. Grant is walking out towards the car, and that's when they kind of walk out to him and say, hey, look, you're either cut off from the family. We are, like, you've got to move out. Or you come with us to a treatment facility. We'll get you some help. And Grant agrees.
Okay.
They kind of explain as he's always been, like, that shy, submissive kid.
Yeah, he's just going to do what he's told.
Yeah, just like, all right, yeah, I don't want to leave. I'm going to go. I'll just go because y'all want me to kind of thing. And they pay another, this isn't, like, counted in the debt thing, but I just thought it was another crazy sum of money. They pay $15,000 for Grant to get 60 days of treatment in the facility.
How much is that per day?
I didn't break it down, but it's if you want to do it on the calculator real quick.
Wait, so it was $15,000
for 60 days.
That's $250 a day.
Yeah,
that's like borderline what he was spending each night, like per an hour.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so he stays 60 days.
It cost him per day what he spent in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's an addiction for like drug addiction kind of treatment facility.
Right.
It's not specifically for his problem, but there is no place you bring someone for like an internet addiction. At least not right now. Maybe there is now. I don't know. But they don't really know where it's going to. They just know it involves games and the internet. In their mind, it doesn't really involve games, but he says Twitch. So they're like, he must be obsessed with this Twitch thing, spending a lot of money on Twitch. So while in treatment, the dad and Cody, so the brother that's been living with them, this is when they get into Grant's computer. They hack in.
Oh, my gosh.
And they find the internet persona. They find all of, like, what he says about him, the pictures he used as his fake apartment, the pictures of his car.
Oh, my God.
And they find the website with Sylvie. They tell Sylvie what's been going on. they tell how much money he stole into Sylvie. And all like there were other people he met like on these websites that would also watch Sylvie or other cam girls, and like even made internet friends that believed in this persona. They told all of them it's fake. They told him he was stealing money, and they said, do not contact him. If you have any other way to contact him, do not talk to him. Like, he's in treatment. Like, this is off. He's not coming back, kind of thing.
Does Sylvie say anything?
Not that I could find.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
I'm sure she was like, oh my gosh, she probably really thought it was some rich guy that was just.
I mean, he's shelling out money. I'd believe him too.
Yeah, no, in Bulgaria, that's even more money than it is here, you know.
Jeepers creepers.
Yeah, so they just kind of dropped the bombshell on them.
Down.
Yeah, no. And
the room is spinning.
Back on to our lovely little boy Grant. Okay. He only stays 2 weeks of the 8 weeks.
60 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of the 8 weeks he's supposed to stay. The family's already paid for him to be 60 days. But Grant's whole thing.
I would kill him.
Oh my God. Strict old Chad, you know.
I would kill him. Oh no. Okay.
So 2 weeks out of the 8, he pretty much just says what they want to hear, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And so he's not open to treatment with that. They can't do anything. Like, they can't say anything to him. That he just says he's cured. And so they're like, all right, you know.
I guess you're cured.
We can't say that you're not. You know, it's an internet addiction is what they're told.
Right.
How do you address that? And so he's like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm not obsessed with it anymore. So
I'm good.
Y'all can just let me go. He comes back home, and Chad, for the first time in this story, is strict.
What?
He lays down some rules. Not strict enough by any means, but
this was the plot twist I never saw coming.
Yeah, no, the dad has new rules. It's like you can read the paper. He wrote it down. Chad has some nice handwriting, by the way. I really enjoyed reading the paper. It was so nice. But has some like intense rules, not too, but like I think the first thing on the list was you had 4 choices you can make about where you live now. Home. If you live home, there's more rules on the page, like about what you have to do. You can live in an apartment. We'll help you get set up, but you have to find a job. Similar option, you could live in a hotel until you find an apartment if you don't want to stay here under our rules.
Right. For like the period until you get the apartment.
Or you can join the military, where it's 4 options.
Okay.
And they all
respectable 4 options.
Yeah, like this is the first time I was like, okay, Chad, coming out, meeting your title of strict. And they wouldn't cover any more pay. They're not going to give him money. They're not going to pay off the debt unless it, like, will get him in jail time. There was, like, a thing in there that said, like, we don't want you to go to jail. We're not going to, like, do that to you. If you live by our rules here, you have to pay everybody back. We'll help you through it, kind of thing. The heart-crushing rule, I'm sure for Grant, was he could not talk to Sylvie. And furthermore, to make sure, he was not allowed to have a phone that could connect to the internet.
Oh my gosh.
He had a flip phone.
You're joking.
No.
You're joking.
They took away
They took away the internet.
The iPhone. Yeah, they take away.
My
He's
goodness.
not allowed to have a computer in his room. He can use the computer with permission. A 30-year-old man has to have permission to get on the computer because of all of this crazy shit he had to do.
Credit card theft.
Yeah, and he had to find a job. And I think there was like an ultimatum about how long he had.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's a long page. I think like it's front and back fully written out.
Okay.
In Chad's beautiful handwriting, highlighted. Like Chad really went to town on these rules. It was lovely. And
Chad really went to
that
town.
was like the main points, but there's other rules about like I said, limits on when he could find a job, what he could do at home, what he had to do at home to be allowed to stay there, what money he was allowed to use, what money he could ask for, what kind of help they would give. There was like a lot, like, we're not going to help you with this kind of stuff.
Okay.
If you live here, we're not going to help you pay this person back. That is on you.
Okay.
The only thing is they would try to keep him out of trouble.
Out of jail.
Yeah. So, but Margaret, the mom, the lovely mom, saved horses. She loved her little boy. Again, Mans is 30.
Mans is not a boy.
But would let him use her phone.
No.
And he would talk to Sylvie on Twitter.
Oh my
So he wasn't getting on the website, so they couldn't. It's like, It doesn't say, but like they probably would look if he got on the website. Margaret would look, but he would get on Twitter. Just say he's looking through.
Yeah.
Just
a feed.
Yeah.
Just social media.
He would talk to Sylvie.
But she knew at this point. She knew at this point that it was fake, right?
Yeah. There's no thing saying if she would talk back. It could have just been like rambling in her DMs.
Right.
Kind of thing.
She might not have even opened it.
Yeah, it could have been. She was like on a pretty popular camgirl website. She probably got a lot of those messages just from guys.
And if she was getting that much action, like, I don't know if their algorithm is the same, but like, if she got that much attention and that much money, it was probably like putting her to a better place on the website.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like especially because you probably, the website probably gets some of that.
Right.
So if you're doing good, they're going to make you do better.
Right.
Kind of thing. But he's contacting her. There's nothing saying if she answered back. Another thing is it could have been under a different name.
Oh, true.
Because he was using fake stuff to talk to her before.
Right.
It could have just been more fake stuff. It didn't say. It just said he was using Twitter to contact her.
Okay.
At least what I read. There could be something out there that specifies it. And Chad does find out that Margaret is giving Chad worked, so like she probably just gave him the phone while he was at work kind of thing. Chad finds out and tells him leave. So Chad followed his rules. This is when strict old Chad coming through.
Strict Chad.
Yeah.
I never saw it coming.
Yeah, no. He finds out and is like, get out. I'm not, it's an ultimatum. You have to leave.
Right.
I'm not calling the cops. Just get out of the house and figure something else out. You didn't follow the rules.
You don't have to go to jail. You just can't be here.
At this point, Cody's at work, but he is texted about what's going on.
Okay.
So Cody knows there's a fight at home. Cody knows that Grant is supposed to be leaving.
Right.
And at this point, Grant is packing to leave.
Okay.
Cody heads home at 9:15, and he tells his girlfriend, which is the last thing he tells his girlfriend, I have to go home to deal with stupid shit. So, like, Cody's finally at the end of it.
I'm gonna cry.
But the next day, January 25th, the sheriff office gets a call from one of Cody's friends saying he didn't come to work. And Cody was never late, never didn't tell someone if he wasn't coming to work. If he did,
it was just
nobody could get into contact with him.
Out of character.
Yeah, crazy out of character. They're like, nobody can reach him. His girlfriend doesn't know where he is. I've been good work friends with him for a while. I can't reach him.
Right.
We cannot get to him. So they get to the home at 9:17 a.m.
Okay.
All cars were still in the driveway, which is a bad sign, and no one would answer the door. A very bad sign.
Oh my God.
So, and a very weird thing, all the downstairs windows are covered. Some of them, the curtains are just closed, but some of them have paper on them.
Okay.
So obviously there's some stuff in there that people don't want seen. Like, it was just really weird that there was paper, not people. Jesus.
There's people in all the windows.
There's people in the windows.
I can they can see me.
So the police eventually get in. The doors are locked. They get in. I think they use a knife to jam open one of the doors.
Yeah.
They first find Chad's body, the dad, on his back in the kitchen. There were 2 pools of blood.
2?
He was shot twice. And in between being shot, he tried to
moved.
get away.
No!
Yeah. And they know he was the one moved. He wasn't moved. You can see handprints.
Oh,
There's a lot of crime scene photos.
Okay.
Very graphic.
Okay.
But if I'm explaining it all here, it's
can
something
post
else
them.
to see. Yeah, it will be in the Discord.
We'll put a trigger warning or a specific channel.
Yeah,
or
I think that
something.
whole channel needs it because it's also courtroom
Yeah.
videos, very heated stuff. So I think the whole channel and specific content will be marked. But anything we talk about this case specifically has courtroom videos.
Okay.
That we can watch and post on Discord for other people to see. So
to have access to. So that we can't post graphic things like that on Instagram. That'll get us flagged. But a Discord channel that's specifically trigger warnings.
And it's a link. It's not like we'll just post the pictures.
Right.
It's just something you have to click with the trigger warning attached. But anyway, we'll plug that more.
I digress.
Yeah.
But just so y'all can see it.
He was trying to crawl away or something, and there's 2 gunshots.
Okay.
In his back. There was food defrosting on the counter, and his lunchbox was knocked onto the floor. It seemed like he had just gotten home from work, had put his lunchbox away, and was getting dinner out, ready to be cooked. another thing, he has a gun holster on.
Okay.
This family, just to say, had a lot of guns in the house.
I mean, it's Florida.
It is Florida. They were a gun family. They all had handguns. So the dad had his holster on. Just remember that for later.
Not the gun?
Not the gun.
Okay. Not the gun.
He was shot from behind. It wasn't confrontation.
So it wasn't like somebody like stole his gun.
Yeah, it was. He probably didn't even know the person was
Yeah.
there. Yeah, kind of thing. Next, they find Margaret. She's in her office. This is the mom, by the way. She's the only girl, but I'll clarify. She was at her computer, slumped over in the chair, also shot from behind.
So it's like execution style.
Yeah, they don't know. Somebody walks up behind them and shoots them.
And just
There's
ends it.
no confrontation. There's nobody like, why would you do this and then shoot them? It's you walk up behind and they're gone.
They're gone.
They then find Cody in his work clothes,
Oh my gosh.
laying near the garage door.
Absolutely not.
I'm so sorry.
No, not Cody. Not
There-
Cole Sprouse.
Next to him,
No.
there's a backpack and 2 handguns and 4 bullet cases. Those 2 guns and 4 bullet cases, we'll come back to them too. Just another
Okay.
piece of evidence. They initially believe because of the 2 guns by him and the bullet casings, and they can say who died first kind of thing. Margaret had died first when nobody was home. Then Chad was killed when he got home from work, and
Cody was last.
Cody was last. But they first believe it's a murder-suicide
Oh my
done
goodness.
by Cody.
Right. Because he had the guns near him.
Yeah, 2 guns.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
taken
cry.
gun from the dad. But then...
Wait, was the other gun Margaret's or was the other gun his?
I believe it was Chad and Cody's.
Okay.
They, after looking around a little bit more, they do start to believe in this first investigation. They write it as a murder-suicide, but then start saying, we think somebody else is involved. And some of the cops that know
The family.
Grant from
Yeah.
his previous misdemeanors, we'll call them, propofol. They know he's there usually, and
Right.
he's nowhere to be found.
Okay.
So the next day, they find Grant in a hotel.
Okay.
And they confront him, and there's body cam footage of when they walk into the room. Grant is crawling on the floor and offers his hands up like he knows he's about to be handcuffed. But they're just taking him in for questioning. At this point, they have no physical evidence that Grant could have killed them. They're just questioning, like, why weren't you home that night, kind of thing.
That's so creepy.
but
you're crawling around on the floor and like that's
he
also,
heard the
like,
cops trying to come, so he like got down because
Yeah.
That's
creepy though.
Yeah.
Like oh no, thank you. I want to see that body cam footage.
You can on the Discord.
On the Discord.
Grant was questioned for 7 hours. That footage is also all on YouTube.
And will be in the Discord.
Yes.
7 hours.
They had him in there for a while. He was honest about the money he stole. He does say that, like, I was taking money.
Yeah.
That's why they're in debt. And he claimed that he had packed a bag and left the house, just like Chad had told him to. But on his way out, Cody told him that he would take care of things, that he would talk to the parents. He didn't even say, like, kill or anything, just said he would talk to the parents, make everything okay.
Okay.
That's what he claims Cody told him. There is a very big problem.
Well, there's quite a few problems.
No, but specifically with the interview, he said when he left, everyone was still alive, and nobody told him that they had died. He never asked, why am I in for questioning? What happened? This man's never asked, what happened to my parents?
Why am I here?
I left and everybody was alive, but I definitely didn't kill them. He doesn't know at this point because nobody has told him
I'm gonna
that
scream.
there's people died. They do tell him eventually, but it's before he admits to knowing they're dead, but he shouldn't.
He should. What the
Yeah.
idiot? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You go in for questioning and you're just like, those people, I didn't kill them.
Yeah.
Bro,
we did not.
We're talking to you about some minor theft. What do you mean?
yo, what do you mean guilt? Like,
we didn't even know there was a murder.
Yeah, we really did think you just left with your backpack. So
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, they do eventually show him photos of the crime scene, and he does get emotional at this point, but he's more so dramatic about, like, he's always blamed for the family issues, as you should be. You stole a lot of money. You claim you caused a lot of issues.
Credit card theft. Credit card theft.
But he's like upset, but upset for himself almost.
Yeah.
It's some weird footage. And he also, just a side note, does change his story. At first he tells the cops he left around 9:30, and then he later tells the cops he left around 12:30. So just already lying about, like, when he was in the house, what he saw, who talked to him last. Just kind of...
And that
was just a red flag to me.
And that's also weird because if Dad gets home after work... Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out the timeline. Like, that's... Because they can tell when bodies are... Okay, sorry.
They can't get a confession out of him, so they bring in older brother Jason, who is the only other surviving member of that family now.
A survivor.
Yeah, and they bring him in to talk to Grant, and in the video, they, like, hug. This is the first thing they do. Aww. Jason, this sweet, sweet man. And then Jason pretty much asks, like, for closure from Grant.
Yeah. He's
like, I know you were the last person alive in that house. You know, our last person left alive after whatever happened in the house. And just wants to hear from Grant instead of from hearing somebody in a courtroom say what happened. And it's just so much like,
that's emotional.
Please, just, I want to hear it from my brother. I don't want to hear it from somebody else.
I don't want to hear it from a judge.
He even admits, like, he thinks Grant might be involved, and he just wants his brother to tell him. But Grant just says it was, like, claims innocent. They do release him from this initial investigation, though. Okay. Because at this point, there is no hard physical evidence. And they know he did it. You know, there's so much showing he did. But they wanted the physical evidence to point to it, too. Okay. To make sure they can convict him.
Makes sense.
So he is released from that. So they go back and are looking for more evidence against
Grant at the crime scene.
Yeah, so just some of the things, a lot of this is pointing to exactly how it wasn't a murder-suicide. Okay. Like how they denounced that. Okay. And then more towards like how it could have been Grant. Right. So first thing, Cody's body was found in front of the garage door. So like walking in from work, it seemed like, and that's why, like, why would he go back to the garage door too often?
Why wouldn't he just kill himself in the house?
Yeah, so he's found in front of the garage door. But there is no blood on the closed door, meaning somebody had to be left alive to close the door.
Wait, say that one more time.
Okay, so Cody's body's in front of the garage door.
In front of the garage door.
The way he was shot, the blood would have gone straight back through the door, onto the door.
Onto the door, but there wasn't any.
The door was obviously closed after.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing, his body had been moved. The pool of blood was by his feet, and the wound was in his head.
Okay.
So he was flip-flopped some kind of way.
Okay.
And they can also prove through forensic stuff that he was shot from 3 feet away. And your arms are not 3 feet long. Like, to shoot yourself for it to be a murder-suicide.
It would have been, like, point blank.
Yeah, it was 3 feet away. They also found that the 4 shells that I said were next to his body are from none of the guns next to him and from none of the guns in the house. They never find the gun it's from. Grant had probably took it and hid it somewhere.
He's really stupid.
Yeah. Then going on to Chad, he was shot twice, and he had been moved. Like, he had moved before. Like, they can show where, like, he was still alive, and that's why he was shot twice. But then they can prove he was moved again, and that the gun holster was placed on him.
What?
That gun holster that was on him to make it look like he was also armed and that Cody had taken the gun. That was placed on him. It was placed on him backwards. And a man who owns a gun knows how to put on a holster.
What?
And the kicker is, the reason that they say it's completely proven is that there's a blood splatter under the belt. How would it get there?
How would it get there? That doesn't make any... I'm losing my mind, Emily. I'm losing my mind
I thought that was so insane.
But the fact that it was placed to make it look like he was armed.
And to get even worse, they prove that Chad's body had been moved so Grant could get to his hand and clean off a finger Grant uses his dead dad's finger. He wipes the finger off because there's a clean spot on the finger. They show it in the crime scene photos.
Okay.
And uses it to access his dad's cell phone and transfer money from his account into Grant's account.
No.
And then...
One last time.
Then the only thing they could prove with Margaret is that she was killed first when nobody was home, and which doesn't make sense because Cody was the last one to get back from work.
Right.
They can prove when he left work because there's witnesses and cameras. He got home at 9:15. So she was killed. Her computer activity, she was on her computer, ends at around 4 in the afternoon.
Right.
Cody was not at home.
There's no way.
Grant and Margaret were the only ones home.
Right.
So, another thing proving it's Grant. Grant is arrested on 3 accounts of murder. On him, when they arrest him, they find gloves with gunpowder on them.
Finally.
Yeah. They find the father and brother's credit cards.
Oh my
and his passport.
What?
He was trying to flee, and
to
even
Bulgaria?
could have been trying to flee to Bulgaria. They have no proof of that, but in my mind,
that was the first thing I thought was that he was going to see Sylvie.
yeah, that's what.
Love.
There's like a
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
They also
No,
find a note.
Thank you.
It was written supposedly to Grant from Cody, and that how Cody was going to fix things, and they prove through forensics that Grant did write
wrote
this
it,
note
yeah.
to further his murder-suicide plot line that he worked out. He was July'd.
Yep.
I'm so tired.
I am definitely agreeing with that.
Yeah, he was tried in July 2019.
Okay.
This is the courtroom videos I'm talking about. Man shows no emotion. He cries in the beginning when like the crime scene photos are showed, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like a little bit of crying. And another creepy thing, they also show Sylvie on the screen, and you can watch this man like just glaze over and stare at her.
I want to see that. I can't.
Also, he's like, I don't know. He looks like a goblin. He
The
looks like a
concept
bad.
though of like you are being tried for murder, and you are sitting there, and all you can think about.
You're tried for murder of your own parents
family.
who treated you like the world after you committed like crazy crimes.
Literally, credit card fraud, theft,
Grand
theft of sedatives.
Oh my gosh. And Jason is tried, questioned on the stand, and Grant doesn't cry when his brother is up there crying about like everything. It's just Jason. I'm stumbling over everything.
Me too. It's fine.
Was like the sweetest person up there. He's like, just don't, like, even if my brother did it, don't hurt him. Like, you know, even if he has to be
were
put
they
away.
afraid of the death penalty?
He literally is just like,
Where-
don't
this
hurt
was
my
in
brother.
Florida.
I still love him. Like, do not
no.
hurt him. Jason is like crying for his brother
That's
that has killed his
heartbreaking.
whole family, and is still like, just don't hurt my brother.
Right.
It's like this family was just like textbook loved each other kind of thing. Cody was always trying to help Grant with the money. Jason, on his brother's being tried for murder that they've proven at this point.
Yeah.
And Jason's like, just don't hurt him. Please.
That's heartbreaking.
He's my last person. Just don't hurt him.
Right.
That it was heartbreaking to watch.
You watched it? I hate that for you.
I did not watch the whole videos, but I watched a lot of them.
I hate that you have that in your brain.
It's a lot.
I hate that you know what these people look like, and I'm still picturing Cole Sprouse.
Oh no, I do know what these people look like. Just Grant is a bald goblin.
I hate that. That makes it worse.
It does, isn't it? They find later a typed letter,
Okay.
8 pages long, to Sylvie and his other internet friends, apologizing for lying and sorry for betraying Sylvie's trust. Man's just killed his whole family, and he's worried about Sylvie's trust.
And he's not worried about his brother sobbing on the stand.
No. He was sentenced for life in prison with no chance of parole. He did not get the death penalty. And a lot of people say it was because Jason pleaded for his brother.
A character witness. That's heartbreaking, because you know if Jason didn't give that testimony, he probably would have been on death row.
Yeah.
It's Florida.
And they prove later that this is just another bit of twisted information. This isn't really in chronological order. They prove that after he had killed everybody and stolen everything he did from the house, he was there several hours later, setting everything up, moving the bodies, taking the phones, like moving stuff around to make it look like the murder-suicide. Knew how to clean up because he was a medical professional, you know, had worked with, like, knew what to do in some of these things. They can prove that he then used the credit card to watch Sylvie in his car right after 3 a.m. in a parking lot.
I think my heart just stopped.
Yeah.
Whoa. You were right. I did not expect that to go
Yeah,
there.
no.
I thought for sure she was going to get murdered.
My biggest question is, like, what happened to Sylvie? Does she, like, feel bad? And
Is she still a cam girl after that?
I read somewhere that she is. I did not go on the website and check, to be honest. But somewhere I heard that she did. But that I also read that Sylvie's not her real name.
Well, yeah.
Her name could be Sylvia, though. It could be close. But there are blacked out names in the court documents. She could have been, like, questioned as a witness. We just don't know.
Right,
Those names are
she
blacked
chooses to be
out.
anonymous, yeah.
And yeah, she doesn't want her real name out there.
Good for her, though.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
the fact that she has that option.
I truly, like, I believe that she was just, like, she was only told that he was a rich guy.
Right.
Why would she have any reason to not believe that this was just some filthy rich dude? She probably got a lot of, like, he made friends with other rich guys in the
Right.
chat, so.
What's getting me is, like, I feel like the only reason she was safe is because she was in Bulgaria. Like,
Yeah.
if she was in a different state, Mans would have gotten in his car and driven to her, and you know it.
I'm glad that it wasn't
Right.
a stalker kind of situation. It sucks what happened. Like, it's a terrible situation. But to, like, if he had gotten to her too.
Right.
And, like, that would have just
No.
been so much worse.
Especially he thought they were in love. Like,
Oh,
no
yeah.
thank you.
There is, speaking of believing they're in love,
No.
there are released phone calls from the jail where he is between him and a documentary producer, and his whole thing is that he's trying to prove this whole love that they had. He truly believes that they were in love.
Right.
And, like, that's what he talks about with the producer,
He's
about
not
how
talking about, the murder.
that they were, like, yeah, not that he killed everybody. He still claims he's innocent. And
he still denies it?
no, yeah, he will not confess to it, and he's even been recorded to say, or, like, written down to say, when asked to do an interview, says, only if you will help me get out of jail, like, give me money to help me get out of jail, or put me in contact with a millionaire so I can get out of jail. Because, he believes he's innocent. And
Does he believe that he's innocent, or does he just want to get out of jail to watch Sylvie?
He's claiming that he's innocent.
Right.
Whether he really believes it or not,
At
he
that point,
did
like,
murder
how
people.
deep is your psychosis if you
Yeah.
actually believe you didn't do it, or were you aware that you didn't do it and you're just a liar?
And I did misspeak earlier. It's not Grant's Instagram. It's Cody's Instagram. And there's
Okay.
videos on
That's
it from their
worse.
trip in Japan. Like, you can see the, like, family photos.
That will be in our Discord.
Yeah, and there's tons, like, you can get the 7-hour interview. There's the courtroom videos, the documents. There's tons of photos for this case since it was, like, so recent.
Right.
So a lot of that's going to be thrown right on Discord, so it's easy to find.
I am honestly flabbergasted.
I know, I really thought it was going to be a stalker kind of story, but it is Florida.
Honestly,
This is
when you
coming to us
first
from
started,
Florida.
I thought you were going to, like, with the sedatives, I thought you were going to go down that route. I thought it was going to be like he was killing patients in a hospital.
It took a lot of turns reading through the case.
I feel like I have emotional whiplash.
It takes so many turns. What do you expect from Florida, first of all?
Florida, was he a Leo?
I can't answer these questions for you.
I need his, what's his name?
Grant Amato.
Okay. Grant. How do you spell Amato?
Amato.
T-O, Amato. Birthday. Let's see. Ew, he was born in 89. Okay. Sorry to all my 89 listeners. I just don't like you. Oh my god, he's a Taurus? He's a Taurus. I'm disgusted.
It's a
Okay, that's not against Tauruses, but, like, I learned recently, side note, that there was this girl on TikTok. A lot of people believe that the majority of serial killers are Geminis or Scorpios. And so this girl on TikTok, she went onto the Wikipedia page of, like, the literally, I'm pretty sure the Wikipedia page is titled Serial Killers. And she went down that entire list and put them in an Excel spreadsheet with their names and their birthdays to figure out what zodiac sign actually had the most serial killers. Do you want to guess what it was?
Was it Taurus?
Pisces.
Pisces.
Right.
I thought you were going to say, like, he totally fits
I told Lucille that, and she looked me dead in the face and said, crybabies, and then turned away. I was like, what does that mean?
They
like,
got emotional.
But, like, I
it's
can't.
just, like, how do you have... He was given such a loving family. The whole, like, one of the worst things to me is how much, like, Cody is quoted saying... just wanting to help his brother.
Right.
And how much you can watch Jason just, like, cry and say, don't hurt my brother.
Right. That's heartbreaking.
Like, he wasn't even in the house anymore and still had this, like, unbreakable connection with his younger brother. The family didn't want him to go to jail. He stole $150,000, put them into that much debt, and they were still like, but he can't go to jail. He needs help. We'll keep him here if he has to.
I can't believe he checked himself out of rehab.
I know. He literally was just crazy. He just told them what they wanted to hear and went straight back to Sylvie.
I'm uncomfortable.
It's crazy. Like, there's a chance she wasn't questioned too. We don't know with the witness list.
Oh my God, he's crazy looking.
Oh, you looked at pictures of him. Yeah, no, it's intense. But yeah, that is the Amato case. That's all I got written for it.
Oh wait. They have pictures of the same woman. Is this Sylvie?
Let me see.
All of these pictures are of the same woman.
Yeah, no, that's Sylvie. That's the cam girl.
Oh my goodness.
She's like right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's them in Japan. Grant and Cody.
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep.
Oh yeah. These pictures will be on the Discord. I'm sorry for everyone listening.
It's absolutely insane though. Like,
it was a couple years ago. It's really you read it as such a, like, outsider looking in, like, this didn't just happen, but it's so weird to, like, think about how recent it was and what you were doing at the time.
I just found the video or the picture of them hugging.
Yeah, the Jason and Grant. Yeah, no, there's a ton of stuff that will totally be on the Discord, so it'll be up there ASAP as soon as this one's out.
Crime scene photos are also insane. Guys, please check out our Discord. I promise it's worth it. If anything, like, we have a lot of other stuff going on in there, but just for the crime scene photos alone, like, just to put a picture to these. And, like, we can organize it by, like, an episode 1 thing, so we can include some pictures of the Goatman Bridge and all that stuff.
For sure.
So in a neat little area. So
and you had, like, the articles you went through.
Right.
Just, like, little stuff to read too.
Right. If you're interested.
That is linked.
Right.
On, I'm sure, everywhere you find us.
Literally. And all of our name is the same everywhere. So, like, if you want to follow us on Instagram, we haven't set up our TikTok yet as we're recording now. But by the time that this has aired, it will all be set up, and all of that will be in, like, a link tree in our Instagram bios. So you'll have access to all of our links from one spot.
Yes. Discord's going to be a
Poppin'.
major hub for stuff, though.
Poppin'.
So definitely get on there early. You'll get tons of stuff in there. It's not like you have to pay to be a part of it. You know, it's just a Discord thing. We're going to put extra stuff that we don't talk about. We have, like, just, like, interesting articles,
crazy
channel,
stuff,
voice channels. You talk to other people interested in the same kind of stuff.
Literally. It's a good way to meet people, too, because not
we'll
everybody's
be on there
interested
from
in
time
this.
to time, you know, talking about other stuff, answering other questions if y'all have
I want
stuff
to
we talk
personally question every Taurus in the Discord.
We'll make a channel.
I need
Taurus.
to understand them.
Tauruses, stay here.
Please, I just need to understand them. I need to know what's going through your fucking head. Like, please.
Well,
I'm going to cross-examine.
Every Taurus.
I'm going to write a research paper. That's my senior thesis. I'm not.
Don't even say it. You'll start doing it.
Real talk, I think I'm going to do my senior thesis on reality TV.
Ooh.
But that's a different topic. Anyway, I don't know how to end this.
I'm just going to say thank you for listening to the first episode.
I'm absolutely so excited. I'm so
this
excited.
was a blast. We
It
do this
really
for
was.
fun, just, like, without mics in front of us. So for, like, to spread it to more people interested in the same stuff, I think it's going to be so fun.
Right. And, like, I'm excited to build a community. You know, like you said, like, not everybody's interested in this, and to find a group of people who are all interested in the same thing. That's why I'm so sorry to bring up the Discord one more time, but there's also going to be channels where like you guys can flood it with your personal stories. I
Or
personally
recommended
wanna see
cases.
that because like
What do you want to hear? What have you not heard enough about? Like,
every single
we'll dig
person
for you.
Every single person has a good ghost story, and I want to hear all of them. Like, we might be able to do, like, a listener episode or something, like, just to hear what you guys have gone through and your stories, and, like, recommending cases and all of that. Like, I'm so excited for this to progress and for us to build this. I also want to watch horror movies with y'all. I watched It the other day, both of them. I love that clown. I love that clown.
Yeah, no. We plan to do a lot. So if you're here at the beginning, get ready because a lot's coming your way.
And for those of you who clicked off the second that the story was done, good for you. The ones who are still staying, why are you still here?
Good night. Why are you listening to this at night also? Don't.
Also, please don't. I'm going to cry. I hated Emily's story so much.
Isn't it fun?
The credit card theft really got me. Adam, do you want to say anything?
I heard his head. I heard his head. I saw his head.
Y'all, I think our sound guy's dead.
He's a ghost.
You want to say something to the people? Ooh.
A ghost.
Ooh, a ghost. All right. Thank y'all. I'm excited for episode 2. These will be it's going to be time. I'm very excited.
It's going to be a time.
It's going to be a singular time.
It will take up some of the time in your day.
A good bit. I'd venture to say probably an hour to an hour and a half of your day. If you listen to us while you drive, also don't do that.
They're getting directions to the Goatman Bridge as you drive. They're like, oh, wait, maybe we should not go there.
I would personally crash my car. Okay. Good night, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Good night again. We said it again.
Please listen to episode 2. Give us a good iTunes rating, too. Like, it really helps us a lot to rate our podcast on iTunes. Spotify. You can't really rate on Spotify, but giving us listens, it only helps. Likes on Instagram, things like that.
Share with people that are interested.
Literally, that. Like, it's not...
And if you enjoyed, come back. Episode 2.
Episode 2 is going to be so freaking fun. I'm so excited for what I have planned.
Oh, yeah. Get ready. It's going to be a wild time.
Right. If you're a Taurus, maybe don't. I'm so sorry. I swear it's just the bit. I like one Taurus.
I really don't know how to end this, though.
I don't either. Okay, good night.
It's not good night.
Good night.